Function working. Cool, that's working. Okay, we've got stuff coming through to Twitch and YouTube.
Beautiful.
Everything, all the magic is happening, Skazz. The magic is happening.
As long as everything ain't broken, I'm happy.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Steffi Graham.
Skazz.
Welcome to episode 177 of the Randos podcast. And Skazz is going to hate me for what I'm about to say next. 4 podcasts to go, Skazz.
Fuck off, Ram. Oh.
4 podcasts, another year is over.
Oh, thank God, though. Another year done. Another digit closer to the grave. Beautiful.
You're such a cheery chap, Skazz. I don't know why. Everybody says you're a bit down and stuff, and you're a bit you bring the room down. But I don't get this. You're so cheerful and happy. And
I say that with a massive smile.
yeah, yay! I'm nearly dead. I'm getting close to death. Yay!
Well, I'm getting closer to being bald.
Is that an achievement in life you're looking forward to?
Oh yeah, like literally, fucking New Year's Day, I'm gonna buzz my head bald.
Fair enough.
It's gonna happen because then that way I can't pull my hair out with stress anymore.
That's true. You
can't pull it out
if you ain't got it. As solutions go, it's a bit extreme.
Yeah, well,
Of course, I mean you are really going for the whole look: the bald head, the beard, the bike.
yeah, proper skinhead, mate. Now all I've got to do is develop a prejudice towards foreigners and I have to start hating gay people or something. Is that what traditionally bikers do? I don't know what the biker stereotype is. That is basically it, right? Like killing police officers, overly racist, overly sexist.
But you have to have a meth lab.
Meth lab. I'll work on it. Well, I bring my own beer. Will that count?
It's not the same. I mean, Breaking Bad would have been a very different series if it was about brewing some
Oh,
beer,
that'd be fantastic, wouldn't it? Could you imagine that?
That's probation era Breaking Bad in America, isn't it?
Nailed it. You go, you sorted it. We've got a prequel.
Yeah. that is a spin-off to be made.
Walter White Sr.
Yeah, Walter great grandfather.
Nailed
it. William White.
Oh dear.
They brew the beer in a stagecoach.
That would be fantastic.
Oh come on! Someone's got to make this.
If not, then could they like just be rocking around on a train? I mean, I know it'd be really stupid because they're going to be on the tracks. You're going to know where they're at. But
yeah, it's not exactly the most.
Well, we can't seem to find them. It's like you tried following the tracks. Mate, we can't catch them.
For some reason, they always distribute from railway stations. We can't figure out how they're doing it.
That's kind of like all good Indian takeaways.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Well, the one in Lowestoft, anyway.
Yeah.
Because that used to be a train station. It's on the train station, so if you ever fancy I'm just saying, it's an all right place. Check it out.
I think we at some point need to go to the all-you-can-eat Chinese again.
Is it still in the same place?
But I might be slightly further down, but it's near enough the same place.
Fantastic. I love all you can eat food. I love food. I'm a fat guy in a skinny guy's body.
Yeah, all you can. I don't know how much it costs these days, but I think that'd be worthwhile. We do it as a Christmas meal, Skazz.
They're probably going to put us on the ban list. I'm surprised they didn't do it last time, to be fair.
Why? What did you do?
Eat lots. Lots and lots.
They take into account of this. I think they're pretty sure that an all-you-can-eat buffet has figured out how to do. I mean, when last time we went to the all-you-can-eat buffet, I remember sat there with a group of friends. This is going back about 15 years, and a family came in. And well, let me put it this way: you've seen me in real life. So I'm not exactly athletic.
There you are, mate. You're well fit. You flex and everything rips.
I mean, I have got a bit of a lava lamp body to me, who sort of wobbles a little bit. But these people make me look like Usain Bolt.
Mate.
Yeah.
They make you look black. That's amazing.
Oh shit. Cramp in the back of my leg. Hang on a second.
Oh, there you go. That's how in shape he is. Go on, run, Ram, run! He looks
that's
exactly the
agony.
same.
That's agony. Oh,
Mr. Bolt, are you okay?
this hurts so much.
See, the funny thing is, I was the one that said it, so I should be the one that struck down with karma.
Oh,
Do you remember what we said about me being a downer?
it's right in the back of my thigh.
That's what you get for taking the mickey out of fat people.
Oh. Ah!
Well, there's no way that Ram's going to be a professional basketball player or an Olympic sprinter
You don't say.
or what's that other thing that people do with their legs? Walk.
Synchronized swimming.
So I can just, that's terrible. I can imagine you doing synchronized swimming, dude.
All you hear is there she blows.
Harpoon! Ram, that's cruel.
It's okay. I'm being rude to myself. It's fine.
Bless him. Bless him.
I can't actually bend my leg at the moment.
You don't need to bend your leg. You just need to sit down. Just fall
Yeah, I
on it.
know. I'm now about attempting to do this.
Go on. And then we watch the chair roll backwards. Ah!
Okay. Okay. Rest the leg. Rest the leg on the subwoofer.
Breathe. Breathe through it.
Oh.
Push,
That's
Ram.
That's the second time I've had cramp on podcast. Didn't when I was talking about Rimworld. Many in your front room.
Many eons ago.
When I went down with a cramp attack.
There's a problem there, mate. Saw that sprinting.
Yeah.
You have to contact your agent.
I think what this is. I think it's sympathy pains.
Oh, yeah.
Because our balls hurt his leg.
Oh, mate.
We think he fell off a sow.
As you do. I mean,
and
if he was really, really drunk, I could totally understand that.
He might have been. But we think he fell off a sow and we think he's pulled his front left leg.
Mate.
And he's been limping on it for like a week. We've been doing stuff with him, obviously. We've not just left him like that.
I was going to say, sounds like he had a good time.
Yeah. We've all been there, you know, fallen off and then pulled your leg.
Yeah. Yeah.
YouTube's thinking about us.
It's good throbbing, is it?
Yeah. Yes. Oh, YouTube appears to have frozen.
Oh, brilliant. That's fine. It's good.
That's all right.
Beautiful.
Twitch still seems to be working, so something's happening. I'm still going through to restream.
It's technology, mate.
Let's just refresh the.
What the
Twitch
problem
post.
is probably because we've said words and it's taken offense. We've offended an algorithm.
We have.
Which doesn't
Oh,
surprise
yeah, it's back.
me.
Yeah, I've refreshed the page. Oh, why did I do that?
Stop hurting yourself, you bloody cripple.
Oh, dear
And I'm
me.
allowed to say that.
Yeah, in the same way that I can insult being fat.
Yep. If you want to. I mean, I don't think you're all that fat, to be honest with you, Ram. As you said,
I'm pretty
Usain
fat.
Bolt body.
Yeah, I'm not exactly a fighting Adonis, am I?
Let's be fair. If we stood next to each other, people would be hard-pressed to tell us apart. Rather than you're taller than me.
I think people can tell us apart fairly easily.
Nah, mate. I reckon if I gave you a pair of my jeans, you'd have no problem.
I don't know if I'd fit a pair of your jeans.
That might be a
I mean,
challenge.
if I gave a pair of my jeans, you and Inky could both get in them.
In
Have a leg
fairness,
each.
just a random note, seeing as you've just gone and said that, years and years and years ago, back when Inky and I first got together, we proved that was possible with a pair of my own. We're in the middle of a dining room of our mate's house, and they were like, "Nah, that's not a thing. That can't be a thing." And so I was like, "Yeah, it is. Trust me." And so Inky steps into my jeans whilst I'm still wearing them.
So I'm just taking some official medication.
Medications in a bottle of.
Medication as in White McKay whiskey.
Oh, there you go. Champion. Nailed it.
But not being total alcoholic, I'm chasing it. And I'm eating out of a wine glass.
I was going to say, hang on, mate. What are you doing? Chasing it down with a bottle of rosé?
Right. Onto the podcast then.
Yeah, that went completely out there, mate.
That's gone that way. Yeah, no, so it went straight to plan.
Yep.
So, Skazz, what have you been up to?
Well, I've been in VR, Ram.
In VR, you mean you got downloaded?
Yeah, mate. I has now uploaded
troned.
my consciousness to the metaverse. I now roam cyberspace. I'm a citizen of the internet.
So am I talking to a construct now?
Yes.
I'm not actually talking to the real you. This is like some. This is like
I'm an engram.
You're an engram.
I'm an engram, son. No, it's been really, 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 really fun. I've used 3 of the 4 headsets I own in the last couple of weeks, and I can't even remember why I got the urge to jump into VR. I mean, other than the fact that 2 of the headsets have been sat on the back of my sofa for like a year. It's like, I should probably use those.
With that timing as well.
Yeah.
I should probably use. That's full on William Shatner.
I was then about to say I'm channeling my my inner Shatner.
Yeah.
Insensitive prick. But yeah, because I've got a fair few headsets, and it's largely your fault.
No.
Although we have spoken about that on the podcast before, haven't we? My first VR experiences. So here's the thing. No, I remember what it was. So a chap on YouTube's named Thrill did what we were talking about back in 2013. So do you remember when I think the DK2 was still out at this point, and the Omni was out, or they'd announced the Omni, and I said that would be the only way you'd get me to play Skyrim, if I could like run the map of Skyrim. Like we had a laugh at could you imagine how cool it'd be just to run around somewhere like Skyrim or whatever. So literally no more than 2 weeks ago, or maybe a month ago, Thrill gets hold of a Cat VR, which is basically an omnidirectional doobry-wah, and he runs Skyrim.
How many banners did you get attacked by?
Like just everything. It's great. Dragons and apparently he spawned into the game being attacked by guards and practically shat himself. Because he had to physically run away. to he said it was great. The immersion of it was absolutely fantastic. But
I'm curious, in that running, is it calibrated to be 1 to run, or do you move slightly quicker in the VR world? So your step in the real world is like almost 2 steps. So you can get round a bit quicker because you're moving fast and contemporary speaking. If you see what I mean.
What are you? So you're saying like so
like. Because you can't, those things, you can't
it can't translate your running
stride.
speed, obviously, because in Skyrim you run at a significantly higher speed than you would in real life anyway. So if you were to try and go, if what you're saying to me is it kind of like calibrated to match your running speed?
If you weren't in that unit and you were to just run at the speed you could in that unit, you run say 5 meters in a second. Mm-hmm. If you then in game, would you run 5 meters a second, or would you run 10 meters in a second?
No, you'd run the default game speed for.
Yeah, so it's not 1 to 1.
No, of course not. No, because could you imagine how painful playing Skyrim would be? Because that would mean I think Thrill actually mentions the speed in Skyrim is something like 12 miles an hour or something like that.
Yeah, most first-person games.
You couldn't realistically do that for any period of time. So playing a game like Skyrim would be absolutely excruciating.
Half-hour game sessions,
mate. No way. But I was so chuffed to see the thing that we joked about all those years ago actually be done. Because I actually looked back through the archives. I was like, I'm sure. We were talking about the Rift in episode 1 back in 2013. And we did mention the Omni, and we mentioned the Rift a couple of times up until episode 12, I think. And because obviously I didn't get VR until like a year or so ago, because I was never
it was
sure.
lockdown time, wasn't it? Because I got my Rift S August last year, and so then when I got the Rift S, I gave you my Rift.
Yeah, something like
So
that. Yeah, so
just over a year ago.
yeah, because I wasn't sure if I'd be able to actually use VR because I've got a bum eye. Well, get the full experience of VR, because obviously if I can see in real life, I can see in VR, but like, would the effect be lost on me, kind of thing?
Yeah.
Because obviously not everything translates in game world to real life visually. So I wanted to get into VR. So I looked at my headsets and I was like, how's stuff changed? Because occasionally I'll pop on my headset, I'll charge up like the Quest or the Quest 2, slap it on my face, wiggle around in a few games for a little bit, and then the battery would run out by itself.
Yeah.
Like just in standby or whatever, before like I would even come close to doing it myself in an actual game. And I remembered that my mate Divine also had a Quest, and he can't do PC VR. So I hadn't spoken to Divine in a while. I said, if I said to you I'd bust out my Quest, would you play some VR again? Because there's a few games I wanted to play. I think one of them's Demio. It's like a tabletop game, like a tabletop dungeon crawler. I kind of want to give that a go, and there are a few other things. And after a little bit of kind of, arm twisting, he say, yeah, all right, I'll jump in. And I've got to be honest, mate, I've played solo VR experiences for the most part, but we jumped into a thing called Rec Room, which is kind of like just a big old VR world where you can build levels, and like you can go to play pool, you can go bowling, you can play laser tag, you can sword fight, you can drive like go-karts around, all kinds of stuff. You could build your own chat show room and all that kind of stuff. One person had rebuilt like not one-to-one, but he'd kind of made like a Mario themed world. And so you could go through like the overworld and play a couple of levels, and it was really, really, really fun. And I was like, this is amazing. This is VR. Not these janky first-person shooters that are like so budget it's not even funny. The guys of Rec Room and VR chat and things like social VR applications have literally gone, this is what VR is good at, focus on it. As opposed to the guys behind Atex Cybernetic, the game that I talked about ages ago, where they were like, first-person shooters. Let's just do one of those and put some wiggly controls in it, and get your old mouse movement down to tie it to your head.
You've got to build it. You've got to build it for VR. That's the thing from the ground up.
Now, I wouldn't say it was terrible. Like, Atex wasn't terrible. It was fun, because I put like 4 or 5 hours into it, but just, I don't know, it didn't sing to me like VR chat and Rec Room have. And I've drained my battery many a time now on my Rift and my Quest. I'm hardcore back into doing VR again.
It's okay. How does a battery last on a Quest?
About 2 hours ish, depending on what you're playing. So the thing is, Divine's actually lasts longer than mine, because he plays just strictly standalone VR, because he doesn't have a PC to tether it to. And so I started playing, because I hate doing, as we call it, the cable dance. Having a stonking great cable coming off the back of your head, and you're spinning around in VR, and the next thing you know, you've been hung from the ceiling, or you've just ripped your PC across the room, or you've been pulled over and you've knocked your teeth out on the table.
Yeah, there's that moment when you're on a 30 or some sort of shooter game, and he's like, okay, the enemy I want to kill is my right-hand side. However, I can feel the cable wrapping around me, and I need to go left. So to kill them, I'm going to do 360 degrees in the wrong direction.
You've got to do a little jig whilst you're at it
to untangle myself, and then I can kill the enemy.
Because I hate PC. I hate the cable dance. I hate it. I hate PC VR headsets. kind of. Right? I hate just having that wire there and it ruining my immersion kind of thing. So I was like, right, well, the Quest and the Quest 2 can do wireless VR. They've been able to do wireless VR for ages using an application called Virtual Desktop, but I always found it to be a bit wobbly because I wanted to stream with it, and I could never really get it to work as well as I wanted it to.
Yeah.
And then Oculus quite recently announced AirLink, or they put AirLink on Quest 2, and that's their wireless PC VR thing built into the Oculus app. And I was like, I'll give that a go. And when it works, it's great. But in my case, it's very hardware specific. I then found that feature, because it seemed really stupid. Once upon a time, they said they were only going to put it on Quest 2. It seemed stupid that Virtual Desktop would allow you to do wireless streaming on both Quest and Quest 2. But they've just gone and put it on Quest 1 as well. So your Quest 1 can still do wireless PC VR, which is fucking fantastic. Straight out of the Oculus app. So, I just want to throw out there, I love wireless VR. With a few exceptions. Okay, the idea that I can backflip in my room and I can spin around 720 and start, headshotting people.
You often backflip in your room.
I do. It's fantastic, actually. Like, all the idea that I can, do handstands and shit in VR and, I don't have to worry about tripping over on cables, and it's great. It's all the benefits of standalone VR, but with all the pretties turned up. Right? Because there were some things we were doing in Rec Room that just weren't working. Okay, as I said, there was a Mario level in Rec Room.
Yep.
On the Quest, when the floor rendered, it would give you a seizure because the floor was flickering. But when you went into PC VR, I tried it a couple of days later on PC VR, that issue wasn't there. On a level that replicated Mario 64's first level, there's a boulder that's supposed to roll down a hill and you're supposed to avoid it. You can hear it, the boulder still kills you, but on the Quest the boulder doesn't move. The hitbox still moves, but the boulder itself doesn't. On PC, it does. So, being able to have all of the pretties turned up is really, really cool. The benefits of PC VR, but wirelessly standalone, is absolutely fantastic. But as I said, it's very hardware specific. On my PC, no problem. No problem. But I wanted the idea of being able to take my VR headset around with me. I have a powerful laptop. Should be able to play VR. But then one of my old enemies turned up. Optimus. The thing on a laptop where you have two graphics cards. A low power one for browsing, watching videos, porn, that kind of thing. Listening to music, whatever it is you do on a low power graphics card. You should have no reason to have it. Because it's stupid. Because it doesn't help your battery life that much. Right? Because your graphics cards can really go down. Their clock speeds can go down to the floor these days. So why we still use the low power GPU, I have no idea. Anyway. And then you've got the big beefy graphics card on your machine that you can use to render video, play games, all that stuff. Heavy lifting gets done on the big boy GPU. But the trouble is, Optimus is a software control. It's software. And it doesn't always bloody work. It's now partly controlled by Windows. So, it's flaky. You try and play a game. Did I mention this in one of the last episodes about Ys 8? Trying to play Ys 8 on my laptop, it ran at 2 frames a second. I was like, what the fuck's going on here? Turns out it had put a game on the processor's graphics card. So I had to manually go in and go, no, play this, run this executable, and render it on this graphics card. Bam! 200 frames a second. Back in the day, if you were live streaming, I think they've patched it now, but back in the day, if you were live streaming and you had a game that ran on one GPU or the other, you had to have OBS or XSplit or whatever your streaming software was. It had to be running on the same GPU as the thing you were going to play, otherwise you couldn't hook into it. They didn't talk to each other. There was no kind of layer in between. So you could be playing a game, Hyperdimension Neptunia was my first real experience with this. The game would run on the NVIDIA GPU, and all of a sudden, at the time, the video cutscenes, they would render on the Intel GPU. So all of a sudden on my stream, there were big black screen gaps of nothingness. Because it just couldn't figure out what the fuck it wanted to do, even though I told the game to run on a specific GPU. It didn't work. Optimus is bollocks and shouldn't exist. My next laptop didn't have Optimus, it just had the big boy beefy GPU. But this one, fuck me, it's got Optimus again. And so in VR, it's a bloody nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare to use Airlink. The Oculus implementation of Wi-Fi streaming is dog shit. It's absolutely dog shit. 2/3 of the time it doesn't work. You have to set like 5 different applications in Windows to run on the powerful GPU. So let me just run people through the process. All of your executables that you need to put on your high-end GPU, you can either tell Windows to run everything on that GPU, or you can just tell it to go auto and select based on what you say or what it thinks. If you say auto, you're going to have to go into the Oculus support folder on your C drive in program files or whatever, wherever you've installed it, and just go through and put every single one of those fucking executables on your high-power graphics card, whatever your high-power graphics card is. Okay? Then, if you can get Link to start, and all of a sudden you turn your head and it goes black and disconnects you, that's a network problem. Go to your network settings, right? And then change if your network set to public, set it to private. Bam, it'll work fine. Okay? Great. Airlink, working. But then do the games launch on the correct GPU? Fucked if we know. Oh, and if it still doesn't work, you have to go into Device Manager, disable your processor's GPU, and then re-enable it. Every time you restart your machine.
Oh, joy.
Yeah, it's a fucking ball ache. And even then, it's not guaranteed to work. It's not guaranteed to work, Ram. So, I was telling people, I'm not going to use Virtual Desktop because, it's now in Oculus. Bam! Virtual Desktop went straight on that fucking machine. Because that works, mostly.
Yeah.
Except there's, a bit of lag. Oh, and if you run these things, the machine running the Airlink software or Virtual Desktop has to be wired in. Not only is that laptop running Optimus, it doesn't have an Ethernet port. So I have to use a dongle.
Joy.
Things are getting messy. Yeah. So my one cable VR setup is now turning into a bajillion cables.
At this point, wouldn't it just be easier to set the laptop to not switch off when the screen is down? Buy a load of battery packs, put it all in a rucksack, and just have a cable running from the laptop to your headset.
See,
and just wear it.
Yeah, well, see, here's the thing, because I don't like doing the cable dance, so that's why we were faffing around with the wireless thing.
It's like in a rucksack, cable dance be a thing of the past.
For sure. So
I can see an infomercial.
I've seen VR backpacks. Have you seen those?
I have seen a few, yeah.
Must be heavy as fuck. Could you imagine those poor machines, all those spinning fans?
Can you imagine the VR backpack and then one of those runny things in Skyrim?
That'd be beautiful. Let's do it.
You constantly get the message, you are over encumbered and cannot run.
It's got a weight sensor built in. That'd be absolutely brilliant. Actually, that's giving me an idea for a skip video. I'm going to have to do it at some point. If I ever get myself one of those treadmills, like we've all said we want, then, stuff and reasons. But, okay, so if I use Airlink, I'd launch Steam VR and I can use all my stuff. The reason I stopped playing VR back in the day is because it was hard to stream. Because I could never get my chat to overlay in game. There are tools that you could use to do it, but I could never get it to work quite right because I'm a thickie. Right?
Likewise, I've had some of those tools. I couldn't get them to work either.
But I've nailed it. Millions of years later, after it's even relevant, I've got it. I've nailed it and it works. But if you use Steam VR, these tools work and they work great. If you play an Oculus exclusive game like, oh, I don't know, The Climb, Lone Echo, and a few others, you can't use those bloody tools. And the Oculus app on my laptop, because my desktop is rendered by the AMD processor GPU, you can't see the desktop. You can't interact with it. It just comes up with a black screen, regardless of whether you've wired it in or whether or not you're on wireless. It just doesn't work. It's bullshit. Absolute feckin' nightmare. So, but I've been powering through. It's all good. I've not let it put me off. But it just seems to me it's so wobbly to get a lot of this stuff working. Like, just software just doesn't talk nicely.
Yeah, I mean, we discussed this off podcast earlier, and I was saying VR now is basically how PC gaming was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Where you got a game, you installed it. It probably wouldn't work. It was a lucky if it did work, amazing. But it probably would. It might launch and there'll be something wrong with it. And then you like launch a game and go, oh, why is everything like? Why can't I see anything? I'm in the game. I can't see anything. Oh, it's because I haven't got a pixel shade on my graphics card. Go buy a new graphics card now. Then. Or like, okay, why is this way? You'd fiddle with software. And there was the internet had some solution, but it was slow as it. People didn't. You took ages to find stuff because it wasn't quite so information at your fingertips in a weird way as it was. So you'd fiddle and it's like, oh well, if I just need to go fiddle the configuration files, oh I can get it to work now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty much a thing of the past now. You get a game. Yeah, you get a game, you download it, it's going to work. You're not going to have to worry about it. It'll launch, it'll run fine. You might have tricks on the graphic settings, but in general, it's going to run out of the box. Even if like the game's a bit ropey at first, it'll get patched and fixed. There's very few like the game just won't start type situations now, and there's very few like, okay, it's good, but I need to really fiddle with it to get it right.
Yeah,
VR's at that stage now where it works sort of, but you do have to do a lot of faffing just to get the basics working, and people haven't quite figured out what is the right way to do things.
Yeah. We haven't standardized anything yet.
Yeah. Particularly play early VR games.
Oh, terrible.
Everybody was trying to guess what to do. I think my one that goes on I go when it comes to early VR games is last year we played Killing Floor and Curse, which was fairly early on.
That broke every time.
Yeah, but by default, it had this default feature to try and prevent you get motion sickness. Whenever you moved, like your character, it basically put like a box, like a opaque box around your character, so you couldn't see out, and you had a little window like you could see through to try and prevent you getting motion sickness. And it just made it unplayable because you couldn't actually see anything when you're trying to move around. So I got it switched off immediately.
Mm-hmm.
When I figured out how to switch it off. So we're still sort of in the learning stages. It's been getting better, and I think the other thing is there's still a lot of companies who haven't quite thrown all behind the VR games. I think one of the biggest one was recent. Like last year was been Valve for Half-Life Alyx.
Yeah.
They let's just show what VR can do, and Half-Life Alyx worked.
Yep.
And it was very well done, very well optimized, and it just worked. It was like this set the bar for what a VR game should be like.
Yeah. I mean, Facebook had stuff like Lone Echo and Lone Echo 2. Medal of Honor got a release on PC, didn't it? And the new one that everyone is literally coming in their shorts over is the remake of Resident Evil 4 for Quest 2. Looks terrible, by the way.
The VR game I want, and there are some people that have made something along the lines, but I want old style, not to say old style, but more older style, Rainbow Six in VR. There are military shooters in VR, but they are either team-based terrorist hunt, or they are versus, just you versus other players. And I don't want that. I want, tactical shooting single players.
Isn't there a story-based shooter?
When I last had a look
VR.
around for one, when I last had a look around for sort of a tactical shooter, there was basically nothing around. There was, I think, Onward. Was it Onward it was called?
That might have been the one I was thinking of, actually.
Yeah, but
that's the one that touts itself as the...
There's one which you look at and you think, oh, it's Rainbow. It touts as being like sort of Rainbow Six S, but it's like versus only. You're basically playing as other players. That's it. I think Pavlov. Yeah, I think Onward has got like a single player mode, but it's basically just terrorist hunt.
Oh, okay.
Or no, so like it's single player in the sense that you can play against bots, but realistically, it's still a deathmatch.
Sure. Well, I don't have any problem with that. I quite like that.
Yeah, I know, but I would just like something a little bit more
with a bit of meat.
Yeah, a bit more involved. It's like, oh, come on, let's just sort. I want to. In my ideal world, in my ideal head, I want to be in a VR game with my teammates, even with my own teammates, and use the motion controller to like, because they can tell what buttons you're pressing when you got the grip button. I want to be able to give hand signals to them.
Yeah.
Ooh, hit the mug. Like open that door and give hand signals and communicate with them and send them on the way. And that's what I want to be able to do.
Yeah.
But nothing's quite done it yet, and that's sort of the game I'm waiting for. I tend to find I use VR more for sit-down games. So I last used VR for Flight Sim.
Yeah.
And that's amazing in Flight Simulator VR. Absolutely amazing.
I tried it on my laptop, and my laptop took a dump on itself.
Yeah.
Flight Sim is a beast.
It is,
hardware-wise.
I can't say how free it is just to be sat there. And I literally loaded up, just getting a little Cessna and just fly around, just fly around, just looking out the window. Out, because because obviously it's VR, you can just lean out the window, looking down. The problem you have is resolution of the headset isn't quite good enough to read the dials.
Sure.
So you know roughly what they are, but you want to feel it. You have to read. It takes a lot of. You can't like glance down and read the dials, so it's a little bit tricky in that regards. And EVE if you've played EVE Online VR, that's amazing. Not EVE Online, you know what I mean? EVE. Elite Dangerous. Sorry, that's what I mean. Elite Dangerous VR, absolutely amazing. I've not tried Euro Truck in VR.
Oh, mate.
That'd be great because I could just see myself leaning out the truck and looking over my shoulder trying to reverse the truck. I'm hoping that we're discussing this later, the next farming simulator will have VR support.
All right.
I doubt it, but I hope it will.
Does it not already? Did it not already?
Not by default. No, not by
mod?
default. I think there's a mod that puts it in there.
Okay.
But out of the box, no.
Okay.
Maybe the next one. So VR's getting there.
If you're on PC, it's brilliant. I couldn't believe how much stuff was broken just because of a dual GPU setup on a laptop. I was so spoilt by my last laptop that had the dedicated graphics card and nothing else. This is a complaint to hardware manufacturers. If you are going to give people a low power and a high power GPU, give us the option on all models to turn the fucking low power one off. Just let us turn it off. Because it's fucking stupid. Because it causes so many problems that wouldn't be there if it was a hardware solution versus a software one. If you buy, by the way, a modern laptop, like one of the Lenovo Legion, 5, 7, whatever it is, that has a hardware switch on it. Just turn off the internal graphics card. Just turn it, or the low power one. Just turn that off. All your problems go away. But just in my case, it was a fucking nightmare. But I mean, when I got stuff running, when stuff is running, when I played on PC VR, like on my actual PC, it was fantastic. They've done such amazing things with like the Quest and wireless VR. People say Facebook killed PC VR. But for me, personally, despite what I've been doing and what I've been complaining about, wireless VR, Facebook saved PC VR with AirLink and allowing the guy who did Virtual Desktop to allow you to stream PC VR games to a standalone headset. It's fantastic just to be able to bin off that cable. Latency's a bit shite, and if you have Wi-Fi hops, like your Wi-Fi bugs out, you might find your character like just running at a wall for no reason because it's just constantly sending the last input you put in. But it's amazing when it works. Just the freedom. Not having that bloody cable. And social VR without a cable's brilliant. It's made me want to go out and buy full body trackers so I can track my feet and my legs so I can kick people in VR.
Yeah.
That'd be absolutely brilliant. I mean, I know people were
seen-
doing that like, 2, 3, 4 years ago or whatever, but I desperately want to do that myself now. I really enjoy VR, especially since being shown that my vision wasn't going to be a huge problem. It is a problem, but it's not a huge problem. So I have to compensate slightly for the way I have to like aim things in VR. Whereas I've kind of over my lifetime I've learned how to do it in real life.
Yeah.
I have to kind of fiddle a bit more in VR to gain a kind of a new muscle memory for that same kind of motion. But it's so fun. I'm psyched for the new Facebook Facebook Connect or whatever they're calling it. It used to be Oculus Connect, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's like in a week's time. They're probably just going to announce like upgraded Quest 2s. But just so here's the thing. I bust out the CV1 today. The VR headset that you bought round.
Original Rift.
Yeah. Fucking amazing. Because here's the trick. Wireless VR is great, but there has to be there's compression going on. You'll never get a one-to-one perfect image like what you get on the screen of your PC. It'll always look a little bit softer. Well, even with the Oculus Link cable, there's still compression going on. There just has to be. You can't push that much data through.
That's using USB rather than
yeah.
The Rift, rather than using a display port, a proper actual
because
it's a standard design for transmitting video.
Yeah, because the Quest wasn't designed really to be a PC VR headset, was it? It was standalone first, and then PC VR was kind of tacked on. They've done wonderful things to get that compression just so it looks pretty good. Not great, but pretty good. It's kind of like, thinking about it, it makes me think of like using DLSS, the old NVIDIA upscaler, or FSR from AMD, where you take a low resolution image and kind of bump it up to a higher res. But it looks good, but it's not quite like if you were playing it native. It's like that on the Quest. And I was having a bit of trouble in Lone Echo, Facebook exclusive. I was just having a bit of trouble with one of my sticks. Like, it felt delayed a bit more than I would have liked. And it was kind of moving in VR, because I don't do that, like the 90-degree turn thing they have. I hate that. Yeah, that makes me feel physically sick. I would rather have the smooth movement to do the thing. My left stick, also my right stick, just felt kind of like it was in jelly. It didn't feel like it was one-to-one. Could have been interference. Could have been my Wi-Fi being wobbly, but it just didn't feel right. And even with a wire, it felt a bit wobbly. So I bust out the Rift, the original Rift. And my God, even though the Rift has a lower quality screen in the grand scheme of things, it looks great. Games look great, even on that old hardware. Didn't you say you bought it in like 2016, 17, something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
Because I mean,
something like around that time.
Screen door is a bitch, but it still looks great.
It's really noticeable that the Rift. You always know a screen door is there. You can't quite look past it.
Same with the Quest.
Rift S, you can, if you look for it, you can see it, but you can actually sort of like phase it out.
Quest 2's like that. So I've got this groove where I think Quest is basically the original Rift, but standalone. Your Quest 2 is more in the lines of your Rift S.
Yeah.
Just sadly rushed out and then discontinued, and but mate, we need to get into VR. We need to find some cross-platform games and get a bunch of people into VR. I
What
honestly,
I would like to do, I imagine getting a group together and doing like Phasmophobia in VR, because we did actually play. You played mouse and keyboard, and I played VR
Yep.
together. And the difference it makes when you're in that game in VR.
it actually functions for a start.
Yeah, well, it was designed. I think
It was designed VR
truth,
first.
it was designed around VR to
Yeah.
be the main way, because you can like place a camera exactly where you want. So, with the torch, you can
Well,
move
yeah,
the
because
torch
you
around
have
around.
rotation, don't you? You
Yeah.
you've got the old 6 degrees. You can put it wherever you want.
Yeah,
But you can't do that with a mouse and keyboard. You're very limited to where you can. You've got like clicks where you can put something.
well, They have improved that somewhat.
Sure, but it still seems clunky.
It's not as good as VR. No, definitely not. But then, by the nature of it, it can't.
Oh yeah, sure, of course it can't be. It can't be. But I mean, I'm thinking though. I think we need to find some games that are cross-platform with Quest as well, because I've got some mates who have got Quests who, as I say, they can't play on PC VR. I do think if you are playing on Quest is your gateway drug. The fact that it's got PC VR in it, like the option to use a lower quality PC VR, is brilliant. But you're doing yourself a disservice if you don't try PC VR. I don't give a fuck if you've played PlayStation VR. That shit is basically slightly better than Quest standalone VR, because the PlayStation is so underpowered, it's just not even funny. The fact that they pushed a VR experience on such wretched hardware is insane to me. It's a technical achievement, really, but
It is, and it gave everybody a lot of people got a taste of VR who necessarily would have done.
yeah, I agree. I mean, just the thing is, right? So again, can I just quantify this for people? The PlayStation 4 is lower power than the gaming PC I built when my children were babies. Right? That PC has only recently died. It was like a decade old, weren't it? Thereabouts. PlayStation 4, lower powered. PlayStation 4 gets a fucking weird ass version of VR that somehow works. Yet my PC wasn't powerful enough to play PC VR. That should tell you what the fucking... There's a massive gap there between what you're getting and what you could be getting. It's not about, the graphics that good and all that kind of stuff. But understand this. Unless it's heavily stylized, if it's based in like a real world environment, those graphics are going to really help with immersion. The higher frame rate to stop motion sickness and all that kind of... It's just... PC VR is just a better experience. It just is.
Is the PlayStation VR compatible with PlayStation 5?
No.
Ooh, interesting.
Well, it is, but you have to use the PlayStation 4 VR camera. Everything is run in PlayStation 4 mode, so obviously nothing's going to get up-resed. Like nothing, you can't... If the game is bundled with low-res textures, which is going to have to be because it's a fucking PlayStation 4 game... Right, there aren't any PlayStation 5 VR games. It's not going to look any better on a PlayStation 5. You have to, do jiggery pokery to get it all connected up. Although Sony have said they're going to release a PSVR 2 at some point.
I'm sure they will.
I hope they do, because get more people into VR. Microsoft still ain't doing it. For what the fuck ever reason.
They're going towards more augmented reality, like the HoloLens and stuff, aren't they? Is what they're more going towards.
Well, sure, but they've already got their mixed reality headsets.
So I think that's what I mean. What I would like to see is actually more. I'd like to see like the likes of Nvidia, AMD getting more involved with the graphics card division in VR, because I think that could be a good... You imagine someone like... You were talking about the upscaling in GeForce. Imagine if that hardware got put into the Quest itself.
That'd be fantastic.
So it transmitted a low-res image, and then the Quest just did the power processing to upscale it, so it looked really good.
Well, that's the funny part, actually, of wireless VR. The biggest part... Because obviously there's going to be latency. The latency of the game... the latency of the video being captured, the latency of the network, and then the latency of it being kind of process to work. The two biggest bits is the transfer, and then the Quest kind of decoding the thing. It's like, oh my god, that's where all the latency's coming from. As you said, imagine if that was all done, like, accelerated in hardware and upscaled in hardware.
If Nvidia teamed up with, you know, either Valve or Oculus to say let's put some of our hardware, I think they could make a cracking product.
Yeah.
It's actually surprised me. Actually, it's sort of like Nvidia hasn't gone. Well, why don't we make a VR headset optimized to work with our graphics cards? You know,
I'm surprised they haven't gone. Why don't we do cloud gaming VR?
Yeah,
I know other companies have, but like Nvidia's already got a streaming service out there.
yeah.
Why don't they put a GeForce Now VR app on the Quest?
No reason why, because I mean that doesn't require a lot of bandwidth. I mean, hell, frankly, Skazz, Google with Stadia,
Yeah.
if they wanted to, could probably make something work with VR.
It would be absolutely amazing. Could you imagine that PC quality VR on a standalone headset?
Yeah.
As long as you've got like a decent internet connection.
Mm.
You know what? Do you reckon they'd announce that at Facebook Connect? Like, do you reckon old Zuck's thinking about stuff like that? He must be, because he's got a streaming platform now.
It seems like a very logical step. Mm-hmm. If you've nailed the streaming, so let's face it, you play. I know it depends a lot on your connection, but you play Stadia, you forget you're playing on a streaming service.
Yep.
You feel that you're playing on your own PC. Whenever I've played Stadia, it just feels like I'm on my own PC. I never think about the fact that I'm not actually running this hardware myself.
Yep.
Well, that's it. If they can encode that and get to your PC and latency so good, there's not really that many more steps to make it work on a VR headset. I think the issue with VR headsets, standalone ones, not plugged-in ones, is power. You know, and weight, because batteries are heavy. Mm-hmm. And obviously, the more power you need, the more battery power. So, if you had his question, if you could have a choice, would you prefer a VR headset that was more powerful, but the battery lasted say an hour, but the battery was changeable? Would that interest you?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Because
so the battery clip on the back of it.
Well,
it's like counterweight.
It's funny you say that, because the Quest 2 has one just like that.
Well, I bought like expansion pack type thing.
Yep, my Quest 2 has I've got the Elite strap with battery, and the back of the head strap is a little bit thicker because they put a lithium-ion battery in it.
Yeah.
So then you plug that into the side of the headset, and job the done. People were doing that with the Quest 1. They were just putting, like the old mobile phone power banks, clipping them to the back of the strap, so that like you were pulling the weight away, like as a counterbalance almost. That's
what I would do. I would basically plan the riff so that the weight is counterbalanced at the back.
Yeah. With
the battery, but the battery just clips in a bit like a power tool.
Yeah.
The battery's just clipping it out. You have a little charger bank on USB plugged into your wall or plugged into your PC, just charging up, and you can just flip the battery out. So it's like your battery's getting low. You can have a small little internal battery just to hold it. Oh, so you don't need to take the headset off.
See, this is it, because you started this with you asked like how long does the battery life actually last, and I said my mate Divine's lasts longer, because he's doing the old standalone VR on his Quest. The reason mine uses more power is because I'm constantly streaming. Like the Wi-Fi's constantly going full bore to pull stuff from my PC, and the graphics card, like in the Quest, is constantly going full bore. So there are downsides to the PC VR streaming experience, but oh my god, man, I'll take that hit to the battery life just to get that quality boost. I mean, such fantastic bits of kit. I mean, what do you want in your next VR headset, Ram? What do you want in a VR headset?
I want. I'm not graphical quality and sort of quality of screen wise, I'm fairly happy. I want it a little bit sharper so that like similar as you can actually read dials and stuff easier. I want it a bit sharper so you can do that. The other thing I want, and it's not so much make it look fancy, but I want to be able to read a dial.
I agree. I will say that's an issue I have on the Quest and the CV1 is that if I have to read text, I often find like I'm having to kind of move in and out and like side to side to try and kind of find a sweet spot for focus for it. Whereas on the Quest 2, it's a little easier to read.
Yeah, well, that's why. If you ever wondered why Phasmophobia, the text in the book was so big,
And so you can read it in VR.
in VR, yeah. I would like that. I would also, at that point though, my next thing for VR would actually be more finer control, so that you get someone with an index. An index can actually tell every finger position.
Yeah, the knuckles.
Yes, they can tell everything. I saw some research today that sort of like now sort of developing, and it's like a second skin that actually allows you to feel through your fingers.
Interesting.
So you can put it. So the idea eventually will be you'll be able to put a glove on and you'll be able to like touch a surface in VR, and if it's smooth, it'll feel smooth or feel wet.
Interesting.
So you can feel your fingers. See, literally, let's be honest. Once the technology gets developed and released, how long before someone copies it and makes a condom? Just saying.
Yeah, there you
That's
go.
going to happen. That's going to happen fairly quickly. Let's be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But that idea, that sort of like marketing, you mentioned about the sort of like leg tracking, that sort of stuff. I mean, there's also a threshold between how quick and easy it is. I mean, I don't want to climb into like a full-on suit, Ready Player 1S just to play some VR.
Yeah, I agree.
Something that I can like just like a couple of things like a couple like sort of like I'm a shin pads. I can just like quickly strap around my legs, grab my controllers, off I go. That's really what I want. I want that fine control in VR to feel like I'm actually engaging. I'd rather they work on getting that really well done and making a set of tools that makes it really easy to integrate it. I mean, obviously, Unreal's got a lot of VR tools built in. Work with these companies like Unreal, with Unity, with Crytek to make sure that, and obviously Valve will do the source, to make sure they've got the built-in tools right out of the box to make this really ingrainy interface so that anyone developing for VR has the tools straight away.
Yeah.
They don't have to try and code their own solutions. Someone's done all the hard work for them. But like Unreal does with a lot of the first-person tools, they're all just built in. You don't have to code it yourself. It's all there, ready to go. You just click a few buttons, change a few settings, and off you go.
Mm-hmm.
That's
standardized
what I want to
VR.
See. Yeah, standardized VR. That's what I want to see from VR, to the point where you almost are, because you do, when you get into a really good VR game, you forget where you are.
Oh yeah.
I did this with Alex. I was put that headset on, and when I sort of got into the level, I completely forgot. And I found myself in one bit in the level where I had to sneak from this monster, and someone came into the room and started talking to me, and I found myself whispering.
Yeah, because you didn't want to get caught out by the enemy that was in front of you on the screen.
Yeah, exactly.
So no one else could see it, but you could, and you're like, shit.
Shh, it's gonna hear you. Quiet.
Wouldn't it be great if it could?
I wouldn't surprise me if someone could code that in.
That'd be fantastic.
Phasmophobia does, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just want to, that's the sign of good VR. They're focused more on the immersion than the mechanics.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Because, I mean,
true.
immersion is mechanics, or is part mechanics, but...
Yeah.
Like, I don't mind a game being a bit fucking wobbly, as long as I'm immersed in it.
Problem is, everybody's got to relearn the language.
Yeah.
We forget, actually, how much language has been learnt. You look at any of the big boys, or any experienced game developers, you look at, like, if they make a first-person shooter, they feel better, not for any particular reason, but because they know the language of how to guide a player, how to direct the player. Good example, like Vermintide. Vermintide, the levels felt very complicated, but we never got lost because they very subtly guided us through the levels in a way we didn't know. But the language like that doesn't translate over to VR. Oh. So I feel a lot of particularly the early VR games, because let's face it, no one really knew, they went over, they tried to use the same language style. And when I say language, I'm not talking actual words here, I'm not talking actual dialogue, I'm talking about the way the levels are designed, the way they interact, because I would imagine, I'm going to guess it, in VR you probably look around a lot more
Yes,
than you
and
do.
this is a problem actually they had with 360 video when it first came out. How do we get the viewer to focus where we want them to? Because chances are they're going to be looking around and they're going to miss the thing that we wanted them to see.
Yeah.
So, let's say there's an aeroplane flying low over a beach. Well, you might be looking somewhere over there. You'll completely miss it.
Yeah.
You'll hear the sound. It's like, oh, what was that? And then it's gone. Oh, missed it now. How do you get people to focus in a specific area? We know how to do it in regular games, but how do you do that in VR?
It's really interesting. Yeah, it is. It's challenges that people got to face and try and learn. They'll figure it out, and they are. Some companies are figuring it out. I love it. It's just trial and error and just trying different things. I always say, actually, if ever, I always say, so if you want to sort of like get an idea of game development, if you get like half an episode 1, episode 2, they have commentary modes.
Yeah.
And you can go through the level, and there'll be little
like bubbles.
Commentary modes. Yeah, and you can. I think Portal 2's gone as well. I think.
Yes.
I think so. And it'll basically, and they'll some of the developers will actually say to you, "We did this room. We had to change it because of this, because we found that if we didn't do that, players went off in the wrong direction. But by subtly changing something, we made it so it worked." So they found like they took a lot of trial. Let's take half example, Alex, your companion. They found this. They decided they tried to work out what is the correct speed for her to move.
Mm-hmm.
If she moves at the player speed, because players tend to move different to how an AI moves, the players could end up leaving her behind.
Sure.
If she moves too fast, she actually gets in your way. And they found that for a lot of tricking, that they had to literally move something like slightly faster than the player to get a middle ground. And it took a lot of trial and error to get that stage to make it feel like she was always with you. And she does a lot of teleportation as well. They cheat a lot as well. They admit that. And it's fascinating actually to listen to the developers and actually sort of you realise actually how many iterations to go and the language that we are subtly trained in all things actually, not just games, in filmography. You know, if you ever learn about filmography, you'll soon know there's lots of little tricks that directors use to make you follow a plot line, draw your attention to the right area.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's obviously from doing video and stuff. You know how the little tricks to use and what to do.
Mm-hmm. Even like a slight tilt of the camera will like give you the sense of unease and things like that.
Yeah, the old Dutch angle.
Mm-hmm.
But slight Dutch angle. There's lots of little tricks that we as viewers have been subconsciously taught, and when then the tricks are betrayed, that's actually what throws people out.
Yeah,
throws people off, and the trick is suddenly different to what they expect. All these little things really add up, and when VR first came, no one really knew how it was going to work.
No,
and
we
they
assumed
discovered
that the stuff we'd learned from like COD and Assassin's Creed and things like that would all work, and it didn't translate at all.
No,
I mean, just saying, like, you know, thinking about it, when games started to really become standardized, like, think about it. Think of all the messes we had in shooters. But then Call of Duty Modern Warfare came out, COD 4. And all of a sudden everyone was like, shit, that works. Assassin's Creed, Far Cry.
yeah, I think the first big standardization in gaming was WASD.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like that's a control
Yeah.
scheme, but I'm talking in-game
Yeah.
mechanics.
Oh right, yeah,
You know, because then you started to see like more games. It sounds terrible, really. More games play like COD. More HUD elements and open world games play like Far Cry. So because they found what worked.
Yeah.
And then we figured out how to navigate those worlds. We figured out what worked. We figured out what those subtle cues were that they were trying to hint at. And then everything became a much smoother experience.
Yeah.
The standardization of control layouts. You know, rather than having like, you know, I play this shooter, I have this layout. I play this shooter, I have that layout. They're like, mate, it worked in COD, just take COD's layout. Everyone fucking plays COD. I was like, okay, cool. You know, Assassin's Creed maybe has the same kind of stuff as like, I don't know, Watch Dogs. All right, they're both Ubisoft titles, but you get you get my groove that like we've learnt what works.
Yeah.
VR has been so hit and miss. Do we use a button to put something down, or do we just let go of it? You know, does it say stuck? Because that's one thing I got with Rec Room. in Rec Room, if you want to put down an object, you have to press a button. But in everything else, you just let it go.
Yeah, no,
And that really threw me off for a bit. I was like, oh, hang on, how do I let go of this item? I was like, you have to press a button.
I prefer let it go. Having said that, I know, like, I think in Alex you don't, but I think that's because in Alex you don't really swap weapons. Your weapons are your weapons, so letting go doesn't make sense.
Sure.
So you don't think you can let go. You can holster and pick up. Once you've got it, you've got it. You don't.
It's like, how do you throw things in Half-Life Alex? Like, if you picked up a bottle off the side, like, how do you throw it? Do you have to?
You have to. I'm trying to remember if you can.
Because I'd have thought with the knuckles, because they're strapped to your hand, you could just literally just fling it.
You can holster them. You can holster. I think you. I'm trying to remember how you do it now, Alex, because whilst I played it, I think you have to basically holster your gun and go, and then you pick up. Oh no, I remember. You have wrist pockets. So when you move your, like most games, you can move your wrist into view, and it becomes like your inventory,
yeah,
like menu. You have like a wrist pocket on each wrist, which you can put like an item in.
Okay.
So that item could be a grenade, a health thing, or something. But it's only an item. So you can only carry 2 items plus your gun, basically. And so your grenade basically sits in there, unless you get an upgrade for the shotgun, where you can actually have an untowed grenade launcher, or as Peel realised quite early, when you first get the level of grenades, they throw loads of grenades at you to help, so you can practice.
Okay.
Someone found you can pick up a milk crate, fill it with a grenade, and just walk around the milk crate and just take out the milk crate and throw them at people.
Yeah, we've done stuff like that in other games in VR. I can't actually think of any off the top of my head. It was like, why we've got a box here. Why are we just carrying 2? Just because like the game will only let you have like 1 in this hand, 1 in that hand. Like, just put them in the box and I'll carry the box.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh shit, that's a real world thing. We didn't think that'd work. It's like, dude, this is VR.
But again, that's a perfect example of the language. We've been trained that in games you don't do that.
Yep.
And so when you do it, it's like, oh, that works. I didn't think that was a thing. Because you don't do that in a game.
Nope.
Half of VR's issue is also retraining players to think differently.
Yeah. I mean, the idea that I have to physically duck in a game, I was just like,
yeah.
I was playing super hot.
I kind of wish there was a duck button, because I've got if my back's a bit sore, ducking's a pain.
You've got the old man back. I love it.
Yeah. I have to sort of like go, hang on a second. Right, I'm crouched now. I'm going to stay crouched and try not stand up anytime soon.
I ain't gonna lie, in sit down VR, I want a crouch button, because like I'd love it when you set a game to like, are you standing or seated? You're seated. Okay, how the fuck do I duck? Because you've now made my kind of ducked low position standing.
You mean you're not going to do this?
Oh mate, that don't work. Like, knock myself out on the coffee table. But like, it blew my like just playing super hot. I was like, oh hang on, I could just duck. Even when I was playing Rec Room the other day, my brain just went, wait, why am I not ducking behind this object?
Yeah, there was a point in Half-Life Alex where I did start putting knee pads on. So
yeah, right.
So because I've got hard floors. And they hurt kneeling on for a long period of time. And I can crouch for short periods. I find kneeling a lot more comfortable.
Sure.
So or like having one leg down and kneel, the other leg up. So I found myself doing that a lot. And yeah, I'm not. Yeah.
We need to get you a lazy boy.
Yeah. Yeah. Something like that.
Just get you a lounge. Just go.
Yeah. Just throw myself down. Yeah. What I actually want is like some sort of like suit that I can put on that I can suspend from like bungee cords and things. So when I sort of like crouch down, it sort of like suspends me, so I don't have to like.
You don't have to actually crouch. It's just
just sort of like form the shape and it goes you, and down I go, and then I can like go stand up, and it takes all the strain off me,
mate. And then I'll come round one day and you have literally been hung from your VR suit by your cable.
Yes.
I mean, is there a VR headset on the market you're interested in? Do you even keep up with VR headsets? Or
I look at them occasionally. I go, yeah. I bought my Rift S last year. I'm not gonna.
Yeah,
I think
sure.
the only one I would upgrade, the only one if I had the money and I could justify it, would be to switch to an index.
Sure.
But I haven't got the money to justify that.
Yeah, Index is
Um,
expensive. I
Still
still
a
find it weird
grand.
that they actively sell. I mean, it's a good idea they sell
They
each
sell out all
individual
the time.
component.
I still suspect they only make like 5 at a time.
It's number
But they
2.
still sell,
It's number 2 on the Steam user list.
yeah, it sells out all the time. Mm-hmm. Which just well, then let's face it, PC gamers will happily drop 2 or 3 grand on a PC. So
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
grand on a VR headset somehow doesn't sound that shocking, really. But
Yeah, think about it. Like a graphics card we needed to run VR back when it came out, you were talking a lot of money.
yeah. But I don't know who buys the version without the base stations.
Well, no, honestly I think that's just a replacement because they break easy.
Do they?
Yeah, I know a chap who's broke like 2 or 3 indexes.
Oh wow. Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they've got a warranty, so you can send them in, and they'll like, oh, here you go, have another index. But there's going to come a time when they're not going to, and you're not going to want to spend $1,000 on more base stations, more knuckles. That's why I say it's daft and a good idea all at the same time to have each individual piece. But I just imagine some tit buying a fucking index, just the headset, and they've not got the base stations or anything.
Yeah,
and then
to be fair, if Valve does well, they make it as clear as they can. It literally says, literally on the face, you will require these base stations to work. You literally will.
But it also says you need a PC.
Yeah.
So what the fuck did you think I was going to use? My toaster?
Yeah, but people are stupid.
I agree.
They went, why doesn't this work? I tried plugging it into my Sony Walkman, it doesn't do anything.
Mate, what the fuck? Trying to explain HDMI to people recently as well was a bit of a weird one. It's like, yes, it'll work. Well, how do you know it'll work? Because it's HDMI. Right?
Yeah.
But how does it work?
Magic.
Yeah, that I've started to get to that point now.
Magic.
The wizard told me so.
Yeah. Look, it's all ones and zeros, right? So here's the thing. It's all ones and zeros. Now, if you've ever noticed that on your monitor it gets a little bit fuzzy or a bit phasey, and if you get the cable and you wiggle it, it goes nice again. What's happened there is the ones have got jammed, because the ones aren't very round, they occasionally get jammed up in the cable.
So you have to shake them up a bit.
And that little wiggle, that wiggle basically frees the blockage up, and
it
comes through. Yeah. That is totally and utterly correct factual knowledge.
Accurate. I just want to throw out there, by the way, some cheap display ports actually do that. You have to, not, obviously ones and zeros don't get trapped. You actually have to wiggle them to clear up your image again. It's really weird. Don't buy cheap DisplayPort cables. Don't.
Yeah.
And they're counterfeits everywhere on Amazon, so don't.
Oh, yeah.
But
counterfeits everywhere you go.
So you just want you want an index. So I mean, you've not looked at like the Reverb G2
if I could justify it, I'd buy an index. But I might wait, and also going to announce a new index soon, aren't they? So
well, maybe.
Well, I'm sure they will.
They've been leaking a new index for ages, and it turned out to be the Steam Deck.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm sure it'll come eventually.
It probably will. It probably will. They think, the theory is that the new index will have basically the guts of the Steam Deck in it. So you'll be able to load games directly off
Well, that makes sense.
the headset. Like PC games off the headset, which is... How you're going to get usable frame rates in VR on that, I don't know. But then, shy of feeling a bit queasy when I get sub 60 FPS. I don't really feel that much of a difference, to be honest.
No.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm liking where the technology is going. I'm liking that there's a lot of open source stuff in there now, like body trackers and stuff. You can get full body trackers for 250 quid or something like that, and they're open source. Or you can buy the old HTC Vive trackers for, I don't know, money, lots of it. And by the way, you said about the VR tracking, you just want it to be compact and simple. You only need 3 Vive trackers that come on strap. Though you can put straps on, one on each foot and one on your waist.
That's pretty.
and then you just literally your character goes into a T pose, and then you match that pose, squeeze the triggers on your knuckles or whatever on your controls, and then it goes, oh, okay, there you go. Now I've got you mapped. You have to have your base stations, kind of like your Rift or your Index, where it has the old the towers, the light towers, or whatever they call them.
Yeah.
But yeah, with those and a set of those trackers, full body tracking.
So, presuming the game has to support it, I'm assuming.
Oh yeah, yeah. But a lot of games do support it.
Oh. So I'm just looking at website, see what's on the site. So yeah, it's still the Quest 2 and Rift S. Oh, can't be all products. I thought Rift S was discontinued.
It is discontinued. They're still on the site, but you can't do anything with it.
Yeah. What old Rift S? So basically, your choices from Oculus is the Quest 2.
Or the Quest 2, isn't it?
Or the Quest 2, yeah.
Which is sad, because like I say, the PC VR experience isn't bad on the Quest, but it's not as good as a standalone headset.
No.
As long as you don't mind doing the old cable dance.
I think I'd rather do the cable dance.
Yeah.
If I'm honest.
Well, I mean, if I did cable dance on my new laptop with that stupid Optimus graphics solution, it'd probably work fine.
Yeah.
But I can't justify a standalone PC VR headset just for my laptop.
No.
Because I look, don't get me wrong, the Index and the Rift with the sensors, fine, but I don't want it. Like, that's what I want for my house. I just want to mount them somewhere and leave them.
Yeah.
When I'm like out at like a hotel or whatever, I don't want to have to faff around with sensors and shit.
No. No, but set the play area and off you go.
Yeah. Tracking might not be as good, but I still want it.
Well, obviously, the Rift S doesn't have sensors, and that works really well.
Yeah. Quest is fantastic for the most part.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, it's amazing actually how much to turn on that big jump of, you know, not requiring sensors to track everything it was a massive jump in terms of what makes it really nice to use.
Yeah.
So sensors, like I say, unless you can mount them somewhere where you know they're not going to get knocked, you could think you've put them in the right place. You could think they're not going to get knocked, but inevitably at some point someone's going to brush past them.
Oh, don't.
Move, and
like I say, when I used to do mine, because I used to play it on my laptop, didn't I? That little laptop. Someone would just come in, they'd knock the sensor. Now I've got to recalibrate it. Fuck's sake. Oh, well, I've got to move into another room because people want to use this room. Got to recalibrate. It was such a fucking
And it's
ball
not
ache.
a quick process.
No, I mean, I reckon you can get it down quite quick, but even today I was like, I did not miss faffing around doing this.
Yeah. The Rift S is, I mean, I presume the Quest works like the Rift S, where you literally put it on, it shows you a video feed of your room, and you just like draw a line around the edge of the room.
Yeah, that's it.
That's so nice and easy.
Yep.
Yeah. The only thing I find the Rift S gets confused by is light level changes. That's actually probably the reason why I tend to use it more in the winter, because I use artificial light.
Yeah.
It works fine. But I found when I try to use it actually more summertime, if I have the blinds open,
I always
throws it off.
I always close that stuff because sunlight is the devil for VR headsets. If you leave that sat on the side with the lenses pointed towards the windows, you stuffed it.
Yeah.
So I don't even risk it. It sounds really stupid, like I'm a basement dweller, but I mean, look at me, I am. But I wouldn't risk it with my headset. Look, all them crazy people that take their quests and that outside on the streets. It's like, are you mad?
Not only are you mad, but you look like a twat. I'm sorry.
I agree. You look like such a bellend in VR. You look great in VR, but to anyone around you, you look like a right twat.
People think, what is that guy doing? And you're just inviting someone to come do something to you. Someone to come near you and prod you or push you And, you know, at some point, you're going to be in VR. You're going to dodge out. You're going to see a missile coming towards you. You're going to dodge out the way of the missile and then get run over by a bus.
Yep.
That's what's going to happen to you.
Hopefully your headset survives and you don't, so I get a free headset.
Yeah.
I didn't just say that.
Yeah. As you go on the ground, your headset says, need recalibration.
Look, it ricochets, and your meatbag body is just decimated by whatever hit you, but that your head and the headset itself's fine.
It's not how you've been transported. You're in game. You're outside the level now. You've no clipped through the walls. Unfortunately, you've no clipped through life. So
You don't need it anymore. It doesn't matter.
no.
You've just been instigated by a bus, mate. See, that's
You game over.
that'd
You
be
lose.
fantastic. I want that played the day I flatline. That's what I want.
That line.
Insert coin to continue, and then just let the timer run down. 9, 8, 7.
The day you get zeroed.
Yeah, that's it. That'd be fantastic, mate. I was like, wow, he took the piss even in death. I was like, yep. Did you expect anything less? But so, is there right? Because I've hijacked this into a VR cast. Is there anything you actually want to play in VR? Because I mean, what have you done since Alex? And Flight Simulator.
Honestly, I'm quite actually honest. This is going to sound really sad. For Sims, I love VR.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I'm quite happy actually. Just if all I had my VR headset was just to fly around in Flight Sim, I'd be quite happy. Or fly around in Elite Dangerous, I'd be quite happy.
I agree. Yeah.
So I said I've always said what sort of game I want. I want a. Having said that, when we played Killing Floor Incursion, that was really fun in VR.
Yeah.
That was really fun. I like throwing the axes, but just missing your head as I hit the zombies.
Yeah. I was terrible in that game. I was absolutely terrible because I'm blind in one eye. I had to hold a gun in a really weird way because I can't hold it the other way because it feels really unnatural for me.
I would like. Ignore my earlier statement of something I could put up on really quickly. I'm going to completely counter my entire thing.
Don't worry, I do it all the time. Go on.
I would like to have some sort of, for the more serious session of VR, where I'm going to be some more serious suit, which had some degree of like haptic, some degree of like force feedback.
They have them.
Imagine a suit, so when you like put your hand underneath the stock of a rifle, it almost like locks up, so it feels like you've actually got something solid there.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get you, because I couldn't get on in Killing Floor with having to use that sniper rifle. I just couldn't do it.
Oh, I got quite good at. I got into the groove of that sniper rifle.
Yeah, I'm glad you did, because I say, like, because you were triggering with the with your right hand, right?
Yes.
And up to your right eye.
Yes.
Yeah. See, I can't do that because I'm blind in my right eye. But I'm also right-handed.
That's an awkward situation.
Yeah, so I have to then take the gun in my left hand. Which is why, like, throwing and everything's kind of wonky for me in VR. So, doing the sniper rifle stuff was terrible. We were playing pool in Rec Room the other day, and anything that requires me to do the old two-hand shuffle thing, I can't do it. It's just, it feels so fucking weird for me, because I can't see out of my right eye. So I can't set things up properly.
Yeah. So basically, I want I would love to be able to strap on some sort of suit. Mate, the suit line is made of that fleshy stuff that makes you feel whatever's around you. Has got loads of like motors and sinews or cable drawers all over it, so that as you pick, it sort of gives you like proper force feedback.
Look around on YouTube; they exist.
Yeah, I'm sure someone's made them. One of those all running discs that you can run in, and then that'd be so. Basically, you look like some sort of futuristic soldier, but basically it's just to play VR.
Yeah,
and it's like, okay, I'm going to be some time now. I'm going to be setting myself up for VR. I can't move once I do this. Oh, imagine if your suit froze on you.
Oh mate. Oh mate.
What a bug that would be in the game. Where it's like, oh, you're dead now, and the suit just stops moving. Guys,
it just stuck there, laying on the floor.
Help!
I can't believe there's nothing that you've. I just can't believe there's nothing actually out that you've got your eye on in VR or anything coming.
I'll be honest, I haven't kept that much up of it, if I'm truly honest.
Mate, but you were balls deep in VR back in the day.
No, back in the day, I haven't kept that. To be honest, because funds have been tight this year, so I've not really bought many games. The ones I've bought have been quite cheap. I've tried to sort of almost steer clear of reading what's coming up because I go, oh, I really want to play it. I know Far Cry 6 is out. I really want Far Cry 6, but I can't justify buying it at the moment.
No, I
so
get
Far
the
Cry,
grief.
so I'm pretending Far Cry 6 doesn't exist. In my head, Far Cry 6 hasn't been released yet because
No, they're still writing it, mate. Still writing.
Yeah, it's not. It's still not even in early access in my head because when I go to actually buy it, I can buy it.
It's barely even a concept. It's
Yeah,
barely even a
exactly.
concept.
Yeah,
You've only just
So-
finished 5 anyway. What's your problem?
exactly. So yeah, because I mean, you know me, I love my Far Cry. I mean, next month, and this is all games we've been playing, games we're looking forward to. Farming Simulator 2022 comes out.
Oh, mate.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to that. I was like, oh well, that's only 35 quid. I'll pre-order that, and I'll have Farming Simulator 22.
If that has VR in it, I want to see you play that in VR.
Oh, I will do. Don't you
I
worry.
want to see you play it. You got to.
I still want, when we get our full gang up again, I want us to do Farming Simulator on Games Night. That'll be hilarious.
Oh,
Brand Nerds Farm.
I don't know how that's going to work, mate.
I'll even steal Clarkson's Farm's intro for that series. Brand Nerds Farm.
So I don't think our Danish man's. I don't think he's got a farming bone in his body. He don't like nature.
Well, we'll sort out something. I'll give him. He can have the big tree cutting machine.
Zaber's the guy that buys the nice shoes and tries to hide them from mud.
I'll buy him the tree cutting machine. Well, he'll have to, if he wants to come shooting, he'll have to come to the farm because I can't do shooting in my back garden, not the air rifle. People complain.
Oh, mate.
To be fair, I would be happy shooting the air rifle in the back garden because that can penetrate through wood and stuff.
What you need to do is just say to him, look, you can play with the gun in VR.
Yeah. Oh no! Also, you can come. You have to come with me on when I go up on the farm on Saturday. You have to stick in the car while I drive around and feed everything, and then we'll go shooting.
That'd be fantastic.
Yeah. I'll throw in one of the... There you go, Sam. Go pet one of the pigs.
There you go.
Yeah.
That'd be wonderful, and he'll love it. He won't.
He will.
He won't.
No.
That'd be great.
But yeah, I'm going to have to break my reel out for farming sim. I'm going to break my reel and my gear stick back out again for farming. I'm not sure I'm going to fit it all on with the HOTAS as well.
You're going to need
That's
to
what
have
I've-
a separate desk just for Sims.
It's getting that stage now because I'm not sure where I'm going to fit it all onto. Because no control. Because the thing is, being a tractor, it could justify all the controls on the HOTAS
Yeah,
as
sure,
well.
sure.
So I can't need them all. So I think that'd be just. I think that's the stage it's going to go. I used to joystick the
Go on,
farm
keep
sim.
going.
I used to joystick the farm sim for the telehandlers.
Yeah.
So that'll be good. But yeah, Farm Sim 2022 coming out on the 20th of November, I think.
November. Oh, right, okay, next month.
Yeah, next month. Yeah, so I'll be playing on that. I'll be reporting that.
How long until you get bored of it and
Well, I usually put about sort of 20 to 30 hours into the farming sims.
Man, I wish I had 20 to 30 hours to put into games like that. Jesus. I wish.
I find them relaxing.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
I mean,
yeah, I get that.
I do tend to. Cheating is such a dirty word. I tend to optimize my experience.
All right. That's what we're
By-
calling it now.
I optimize my experience by giving myself a little bit more money than you're meant to start with.
Is that like tax fraud? I tend to optimize my finances by
Yeah,
not
if I
paying
had
my
access,
taxes.
if I had somehow access to the bank, so I could like add a few zeros into my account, yes, it would be like that.
Fucking Ram's a money laundering bastard.
Yeah,
He's optimizing his finances.
yeah.
I'm sorry, Judge, but I was optimizing my finances.
What happened to the guy who sent the investigator who disappeared? I optimized him with the pigs.
I optimized his investigation.
I made it go down very quickly.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Yeah, my adventures in VR have been neat, but just loads of little troubles that I wish just didn't exist, and it's not VR's fault.
No.
It isn't VR's fault. I want a PC VR space where I can just have sensors and all that set up. I want
Like what?
PC
A
VR.
dedicated
that just works on laptops. But it does, Skazz, not if you've got Optimus. I
Don't you
want them to
worry.
work with the laptop manufacturers and the graphics card manufacturers to get this shit optimized.
I have this plan, Skaz. When I release my game and I make my millions, I'm going to buy a place to use as an office, and one of the rooms I'm going to paint black and I'm going to put yellow lines up to make it look like a next generation holodeck room, and that's going to be the VR room.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
And we make the door so it fits in, so you sort of go in there and you shut the door, and it's like you're in this little hidden room of VRness.
VRness.
Yeah, and it'll be cabled up. Well, at that point, it might be fully Wi-Fi that works. But if not, it'll be cabled up, and there'll be a PC on the outside of the room where it could be set up so it's not a piece in the way, and you just can't, and it'll be all set up, configured properly, so you can't bash into the side of the walls or anything like that, and you can just VR to your heart's content.
That'd be beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. We're going to have to find a game that you want to play outside a farm simulator in VR. We've got to find one. We've got to find something.
Well, I've said I want a...
Yeah, but I'm saying something
shooter.
that exists, motherfucker. Something that's
well,
going
they
to
can
exist.
make it. They need to make it. So...
It'll be really
Imagine
funny if it
Assassin's
turns out it
Creed
already
in
does. We
VR.
just don't know.
Imagine Assassin's Creed in VR. That'd be awkward.
Oh, mate. In what way?
Well, imagine if you had to actually, when you run up to the... Because obviously in Assassin's Creed, you want to climb up, so you just push the button, he does it all for you. Imagine if in VR you had to actually grab the handhold yourself.
Dude, there are loads of climbing simulators in VR.
Yeah, but if Assassin's Creed, you don't... If Assassin's Creed, you have to be quite quick. With the guard to chase you, you just like disappear up a wall.
I also just want to throw out there, no, because they're RPG based now. It's all stats based now.
Yeah, I know. I played Origins. I didn't like Origins.
Yeah, I don't like the look of it either, to be honest with you. But look, there's a fucking fantastic Spider-Man game. I say a game. It's a tie into the film. And I shoot a few people the trailer for it. And it's literally just Spider-Man running at the side of a fucking skyscraper and then just whoop, off he goes, looking down at the floor. And everyone's like, no! And I'm like, I really want to do that.
Yeah. The VR experience, I think I'd set up because a friend of mine asked me about my VR headset. 'Cause he had this idea of, some idea. All I know is he had an idea and it involved children. That's all I really know. It wasn't anything dodgy, but he wanted to know about the VR for children, which I said, well, it's not really recommended for kids because the headsets are too heavy.
No, it really isn't recommended for children, apparently.
Yeah, and also apparently not share if it's like gonna rewire their brains or something.
They have said that children aren't they don't have the motor skills yet,
Yeah.
and putting them in VR just fucks with their head. So they're not sure if it will cause permanent damage, but it does screw them up.
Yeah, all the manufacturers say don't put kids in VR.
Yeah.
But I said, I might bring it round. And we can if you ever have a party, I'll bring it round. We can set it up, and we'll give you, and you perhaps we can set up, and your friends can have a go. Because again, these are mainly farmers, and most of them haven't even played a PC game, so VR would really fuck them up. But you can buy that game, The Plank.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. Yeah,
and you can actually configure it and like say what size your plank is, and you can actually set something up in real life.
Yeah, so you can feel like you're falling off the edge of it. Yeah, I've seen.
Yeah, and I thought I'd do that and set it all up, and they can try walking across the plank to really fuck them up.
I had this fucking this stupid vision in my head because I watched the trailer for that again the other day. I was like, I need something else to play in VR, and I was like, Inky's like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. No, because like, fucking there's a plank and you have to look over the edge of a skyscraper or whatever. And I was like, knowing my luck, right, I would want to run off the edge of it to see my character fall off the thing, but some twat would actually put me at the end of it, like at the edge of a building or something, so I'd run in real life, jump, and just fucking...
Did you ever load up Dreamscapes in Oculus? The little demo one they have, little demo reel they have.
Is that the one with the little robot that teaches you how to shoot?
No, that's First Contact, and then the other one they have is called Dreamscapes. And basically, it's little I think it's 5 or 6 little vignettes type things to sort of show different things. And I use that as an example to show people what you can do in VR. So,
right. I don't think I've done that one.
It's on. It's one of the I think it's one of the early ones. It's very early.
It's in my library. I just haven't because I wasn't sure if it was one of the ones that you'd shown me.
It literally takes about 5-6 minutes to go through.
Okay.
So the first one is you're in a sort of foresty area with some animals, sort of polygonal animals and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
Then the next one is you are on the side of a skyscraper, and you can literally look at the edge of the skyscraper and look down.
Oh no, I have done that one because you showed me that one.
I think I got you to do it once to show you.
I loved that one.
Oh, did the alien? Because I think the alien usually freaks everybody out.
That was all right.
Yeah, because I get it to my friend. The alien really freaked him out. He wasn't expecting that.
Oh mate,
He goes, "Ah!" and jumped backwards.
Oh, I was playing it. Do you remember PT? The Parasite Hill.
Silent Hill.
I
know of it. Eve. I know of it. I've never played it, but I know it's a thing that you can't get it anymore. You can't get it anymore. But apparently someone's made a fan copy of it.
There was, but there's a VR version of it in Rec Room. Someone's made like a Lego style one because Rec Room is just basically like you look like Lego characters kind of thing, or like Duplo characters or whatever. Someone's made like the PT demo in that style, and my mate Divine picked that we go through it the other day. And it was just fucking, oh my god, mate.
Yeah. So it's cool stuff. Well, talking of VR, because we're going to look at doing some VR next week, aren't we?
Yes.
So next week on the 3rd, on the Saturday, is going to be our Halloween stream. And we are going to, Skazz has sort of picked out a few game ideas.
Yeah.
We'll finalise which one it's going to be. And we are going to do VR gaming like we did last year.
Except this time it'll work. Stupid laptop.
And we're going to, well, to be fair, the game fucked up and the stream fucked up on your end, unfortunately.
Yeah, ugh. My machine was powerful enough to play VR, not powerful enough to play and stream it. This one, as long as it doesn't have a seizure, should be powerful enough to do both. Although, funny we say that, Ram. Your computer doesn't meet the updated minimum specifications, which can lead to a poor experience in VR, says the Oculus client.
Nice.
It's not true.
Yeah, well, let's face it, none of those things are ever correct.
Mm-hmm.
According to Microsoft, my computer can't run Windows 11.
Yeah, don't. Just thrown out there, please don't. Because if you want to use your Oculus, the Oculus headsets don't support Windows 11 yet.
Yeah, I know. I was because you asked me to put a message in a Reddit post.
Yeah.
Which I did.
Thank you.
I was just looking through it, and there's a bit where Rift support actually comes in and speaks to one person, answers a question, and then someone says, when it needs on Windows 11 support, and they basically said we ain't got round to testing it yet.
Whoops.
And one guy quite rightly said, "How on earth can you not have got round to testing it? Your dev team has not got round to testing it. It got released for devs 8 months ago. How is it that our small company with 8 people have already started testing for Windows 11 R stuff? You guys haven't got round to it. Seriously."
It breaks AirLink, from what I understand.
Yeah.
It breaks Oculus Link.
I can believe it.
But then, in fairness, just having another graphics card breaks Oculus Link. Having a cable breaks Oculus Link.
Yeah, or slightly moving the cable.
Mm-hmm. Having a computer breaks Oculus Link.
Breathing near it breaks Oculus Link.
It does.
Looking at it through the VR headset breaks it.
It does.
So.
It does. It really does. Just
cool.
one last note before we go on to the stuff that we're playing on the Halloween night. The CV1's actually quite comfortable, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
And calibrating the OIs, so much better on the CV1 than anything else I've used. Everything else is it feels like guesswork. That's how you can tell Facebook hadn't fucked with it yet.
I couldn't quite get it right for my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
I was very concerned actually going for the Rift S because apparently it has less. It has
the IPD adjustment,
smaller range. Yeah, it's got smaller range of adjustment for it, and I was a bit concerned.
Well, you don't have to have it exact, do you? You have to have it within.
Yeah, but there's a point where it's just all of a sudden goes sharp or sharpish.
Yeah.
And I was a bit concerned with the Rift S, but actually I found the Rift S easier to calibrate than the original Rift.
Sure. The Quest 2... in the end, I just go, look, whap it on as wide as you can go, nip it in a little bit, and job the done, roughly. Because like I say, I'm blind in one eye anyway.
Yeah.
So it's just trying to get that one eye in reasonable focus most of the time. Plus, given the low res of these screens, they're never tack sharp anyway.
No, no, indeed not. There is obviously a threshold from.
There is a sweet spot, yeah.
There
I
is a
agree.
sweet spot. So, I get the Rift S a lot. I found the Rift S a lot. I said get the Rift S a lot more finer than the Rift, but that's because it's high resolution as well, so it helps.
Does your Rift S say Lenovo on the side of it?
I don't know. Let me have a
look.
for you. Oh no, that was broken up. Yes, it does say Lenovo.
I reckon that's just one of their mixed reality headsets rebadged.
Maybe.
Did they ever patch that microphone bug, by the way?
Which one?
The one that made you go robotic and androidy.
Oh,
On the Rift S.
I don't know because last time I used the microphone with you was on the Rift S, and I used the onboard microphone when we did Killing Floor.
No, I just remember you complaining about it once.
It must have done then because I don't.
You completely forgot about it.
I completely forgot about it. So it must have done.
Sure.
So, yeah, bless it. Works.
Yeah.
Cool.
So what are we doing in the Halloweens then? You said we were going to be picking out some games and.
We haven't decided because you've linked loads.
Oh yeah, because like I said, mate, I've been going on a VR binge, mate.
So what was the first one? Let's look at the ones you first. The first one you linked was Propagation VR, which I think is that the first one you linked? Yes.
I mean, these aren't all just for games night. These are just like rad things in whatever. But Propagation I thought was neat because I believe that's free and the DLC for co-op is about £7, and that's a horror game.
Yeah. Apparently it takes about half an hour to get through it.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. What's this? Stride multiplayer pass, high octane parkour adventure in virtual reality.
You'll love it. You won't, but I will.
I'm rebelling. That looks like some sort of mech game or combat game.
There's quite a few, by the way. There's quite a few mech combat games in VR now.
Yeah. It was absolute criminal that MechWarrior 5 didn't have VR.
Don't get me started. The game wasn't that bad, but I mean it.
That's criminal.
It felt too arcadey to be MechWarrior, but then when you got into the gritty bits of it, it felt too complicated to go with the arcadey bit.
Yeah, it was not. It hadn't quite hit. It didn't hit the right sweet spot, and yeah. But I don't want to go on to my rant on MechWarrior 5. Trickster VR co-op dungeon crawler, 45 levels with a stereo difficult curve, 22 weapons with unique powers to unlock, 9 different mission types, 4-player co-op, 5 regions to explore. That was the last one you linked to me.
Yeah.
And also we also discussed at one point playing Phasmophobia in VR.
Yep.
But I'm not sure how well it'll work with just two of us, but we can give it a go.
Yeah. I really fucking wish Saber had got a VR headset, man. I really do.
Well, yeah, I was tempted. I know this because if I was at one point when I was debating getting a Quest 2, if I get a Quest 2, I'll see how much it costs to ship to Denmark. I'll ship in my Rift S. Mate,
you've got this thing about shipping off Rifts.
Well, unlike because they take up a lot of space. Like, if I don't need it anymore.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I did joke on stream actually that my Rift, your Rift. It was fantastic. All it cost me was a copy of Half-Life Alyx.
Yeah, it was, yeah. Technically, it didn't cost you that because I was going to...
Yeah, you were going to give it to me. I felt so bad. So I was like, fuck it, it's got to have a copy of Half-Life Alyx, man. That was well nice of you. I've babied the fuck out of it. I love it.
You've probably treated it a lot nicer than I ever treated it.
I'm going to be honest. If I had a pillow to put it on, I would.
Oh, one of those all red velvet pillows, the sort of tassels in the corners.
Yeah. And I'd feed it only the finest,
Data.
visuals.
I've got vision now. You sitting on like a throne, and you just clicking your fingers, saying, "Bring me my rift." And someone will call you, come in with us, and says, "Your rift, my lord."
One day, just one day.
Again, if I win them, if my game makes millions and I have the offers, the main room will be a throne room.
Yeah, like what? You're having board meetings as you sat on your throne.
Yeah. No, the Council of 12 meetings. There may not be 12 people on the council, but it'll be called the Council of 12.
Beautiful.
And everybody will insist there has been along a LARP sword, and any disagreements will be a fight to the death in the middle.
Just do it in Rec Room.
Oh no, I want to actually see him.
Sword and sorcery, do it in that.
I want to see him. No, I want to see him in the flesh. I want people going down.
Oh mate, Ram goes hardcore.
We shall settle this. You think we should? You think we should sign up and diversify and sign ourselves over to Facebook? You think we should sign ourselves over to Valve? Fight.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I hate to say it, mate. I'm not as against the whole Facebook VR account thing as I used to be.
Really?
Not bothered at all.
That's pretty much what. Yeah, I mean,
I don't like it. Don't get me wrong. I still don't like it. And the fact that I'm supposed to be on a Facebook detox, but every time I log in on my Quest, it logs me into Facebook.
Yeah.
So people are like, "You said," and I was like, "Fuck off! I'm in game," because your Facebook Messenger turns up on your Quest.
I can't not use the Quest.
It's like
I can't not use Facebook. Yeah.
Like,
I would if I could.
Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna close my Facebook. Like, oh shit, the Rift, the Quest, no.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't like it. But then the idea that Facebook is selling such a cheap headset these days.
So yeah, I mean, if someone said to me, I fancy giving VR a go, I would tend to get a Quest 2.
Yeah. If the Quest was like 600 quid, I'd tell them to shove it up their asses. But for 300 quid, it's fucking fantastic.
It is, and 300 quid, and if you do have a PC as well,
yeah,
you're good to go, really. So I would definitely say you're gonna go get a Quest 2.
And then Ram gets a Quest 2. Ram, as on the 28th. No, 5
don't...
days away.
We'll
5 days away, you get to see what super sexy headset they come up with that
Yeah.
I can't afford.
If they announce like the Quest 3 or the Quest 2S or something like that, and it's like sort of I'd be tempted.
Yeah.
But at the moment, I just don't see what's the point of getting a Quest over the Rift S.
Yeah.
Or Quest 2 over the Rift S, because they just seem close enough that there's no upgrade, and as you say, it's not the same as having an actual proper cabled machine thing. It's not quite the same. The Quest, if they do announce a Quest 3, it might be a big enough jump that it solves a lot of those problems, in which case, well, then I might well consider getting a Quest 3. So
I know you're already signed in with your Facebook account, don't you?
Yeah, I'm already, that's all done. That's done. I sold my soul years ago.
Good man.
Yeah. I figure, well, it's just another company that's got my data.
You can't escape it these days. It just takes one person to piss in the pool, and they'll get you another way.
And like we say, all the stuff about data and stuff, it's aggregated anyway. It's not you personally they're targeting. It's a group of people like you. And and I personally love seeing it all get confused when it tracks me around and gets absolutely confused. That time it tried to sell me for about 6 months. Every advert tried to sell me a robotic milking machine.
Yeah, why not? I mean, I love stuff like that. The random little fluff things that it does. I show them to friends and family. I'm like, look at what it thinks I like. Oh wow, shit, that's pretty rad.
I love particularly like Amazon as well. Because around Christmas time, I tend to buy my gifts through Amazon because I'm a lazy sod. And for the next 4 or 5 months afterwards, Amazon decide that, well, I guess you're now into gardening diaries.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like, no, just no. Just give me an option to say, look, this was a gift I bought for somebody else. I'm not interested in this.
Well, I mean, does it? Because I mean, you can click that it's a gift. Do you have them sent out as gifts too?
No, I say I've sent. I do actually wrap them myself.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. I was going to say because
It's the personal touch of my really bad. I mean, Amazon wrap them better than me, obviously.
I was just
But it's
wondering.
the personal touch.
I was
of
just
how I
wondering
wrap
if the
me.
algorithm was smart enough to go just disregard that. That 15-foot dildo is not for Ram. That's for his sheep, Colin.
My sheep gone.
Never
Alas,
know.
I don't. Alas, I have no sheep at the moment.
Poor Ram.
No, but I'm
You can
hoping
get
to
one
some
in VR.
I could have a VR sheep. I'm hoping to get some pedigree pigs soon.
All right.
Yeah, pedigree pigs, and I'm going to AI them. Well, not for the first time. First, they'll go with the actual RAM, then after that, I'll AI them.
Oh dear.
Yeah. It's
Ram?
amazing how that. Yeah.
No more livestock.
But
No.
I have to buy.
Stop giggling.
It does-
No.
It then means I have to obviously at some point then buy in some boar seam and that I have to keep it in the freezer. It's like put aside that this is not yogurt.
That's
I'm
how
as
that
fond
happened.
This is not yogurt.
Oh, mate. Oh, look, it's chewy.
Why is it so? This is salted caramel.
Oh, mate. I feel sorry for anyone going through your fridge.
Yeah. 2 tubs yogurt, not yogurt.
Put it next to the cottage cheese.
Yeah. 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 Don't drink 4 pigs.
It's like, don't let the pigs drink it either.
That's the start of some horrendous sort of like 90s sitcom, isn't it? You get the cottage cheese and the ball seam mixed up, and you AI your pig with the cottage cheese and stuff.
Just no. Well, what happened? It's like, well, I spread that into my roll.
Oh dear. Ah, well, there we are.
And there
I
we
think
are.
we've wrapped it on for long enough.
Yeah, sorry, I hijacked that one with VR.
That's all right.
It's been a long time since we spoke
Neo
about VR.
JC says, evening lads, evening Neo JC.
Evening. Do you want some VR?
Yeah, we got some VR, mate. Here,
Hey, mate.
VR.
Do you want a Rift?
Keep it under your hat, mate. Keep it under your hat.
Do you want a Quest? Do you want an Index? Hey, mate. I bet you'd love to stick your face in my Index.
Yeah. I somehow feel that VR would be more like pimping out than drugs.
Yeah.
Look at this beast of it. Full finger, or recognise each of your individual fingers. This one does.
Oh, mate.
Oh, mate, yeah. Yeah. Or
That's when
furthermore, if you prefer the classic, that one there's still plugged into the PC.
Mate. You fucking... She's a bit battered. She's a bit beaten, but she's still good.
Yeah.
No,
how about have something exotic over there's the PlayStation VR?
fucking mate. Now you start talking like that when you get your haptic suit.
Huh. Are you on a budget, mate? No problems. Here's one of those funny cardboard surrounds that you can put your Samsung phone in. Did those
She's
ever
cheap. She's plastic, but she's still a good laugh.
Did those ever work?
No.
I were going to a petrol station once. It says, experience the joys of VR at home. And it was like a little cardboard surround for you and with a plastic bit for your phone. It's like, I'm pretty sure that has no way of working.
No. But apparently it worked on some people. It was enough to make them realise it was shit and they wanted to get a real headset.
Yeah. Well, it can go either 2 ways. People go, VR is shit, or VR looks cool, but this is a shit way of doing it. I'll get a proper headset.
I'm a convert, right? Anyone that says that VR is shit based on cardboard will literally get my foot broken off in their asses. Now, just know, I've only got 2 feet, so be careful. I can only sort 2 of you out.
Yeah.
So think. It's not that bad. It's pretty good. It's pretty good these days.
It is.
Get a
It's
Quest.
good. Get a
Or
Quest.
an Index.
Or an Index.
Or
anything.
a Reverb G2. Or the other one with the big screen and the... I can't remember what they're called, but they're good. All of them. Even the DK1 development kit. Quest. Rift. That one. Yeah. Did it.
Yeah, the original. Classic.
The one that looked like a giant shoebox.
Yes. Yeah, the old classic Rift.
People were satisfied with that once upon a time.
They were.
And now they think it's shit.
Well, the way that's how technology marches on.
I just can't believe it's been all those years since we were talking about it. Like it was a dream.
Yeah, when we started a podcast, it hadn't launched, had it?
Nope.
Because I think the Rift... Was it 2015 the Rift launched?
No, it weren't that late, was it? No, it might have been. Because a lot of people I know who got in on the early days all kind of mention around 2016 time.
So it was interested to Kickstarter. Okay, it was released on March 28th, 2016.
Wow, really?
Yeah. There's a Kickstarter campaign launched in 2012. So officially it was introduced in 2012, but the official launch... So it was introduced in 2012, but the official launch was 2016 by the looks of it.
All right.
Yeah, Development Kit 1. So DK1 was 2012. It released in 2013. Sorry, is DK Kit DK1. DK2 was July 2014. And the first customer version was, here we are, was announced on May 6, 2015, was shipped on first quarter 2016. Which would be right, because I picked up mine, I said I got to about 2017, and I picked mine up about a year after it had been launched. So that would be about right.
Oh, damn.
I was semi on the pulse on that one.
Mate. Simpler times back then.
Simpler time. Right. We've been on now for 2 hours, so I suggest we...
Yeah, let's call this one fucking done, son.
Yeah. So I hope you enjoyed our VR cast.
This will not become a regular thing, unless it does.
So we hope you enjoyed joining us on this. You can find us in our page. You can find us on randnerds.co.uk. You can find us on YouTube, youtube.com/randnerds. Facebook, facebook.com/randnerds. Twitter, twitter.com/randnerds. And Twitch, twitch.tv/randnerds to watch our next stream. Our next live stream for podcast will be on November the 6th, 2021 at GMT 21:30-ish.
Ish.
It's always ish with us. We'll be doing our next game live stream, so on game night, which will be Tuesday 26th. We're currently playing for a game called Forewarned, which has been I've enjoyed so far. Yeah, we'll try and not die so much in the next one, so you can come join us for that. You can also email us comments@randnerds.co.uk, and eventually I will set up a Google Voice somehow. So yeah, thank you very much for joining us.
Ram, twitch.tv/the Suffolk Ram.
Oh yes.
Twitch.tv/Skazz, SK4ZZI0US. And by the way, if you want to add us on the Oculus or in the VR, just look up Skazz, SK4ZZI0US on everything pretty much.
Yeah.
I don't know about Ram because I don't think he likes people.
No, I don't.
Bastard.
I keep myself hidden away from the world.
Look up the Suffolk Ram. It's probably there. That wouldn't it be funny if you end up with like 50 fucking friends requests on Oculus by the end of the night?
50? You think that many people want to listen to our podcast? How many people have listened to the podcast? And B, how many people have got the inclination to actually go on and add friends? And C, how many people actually want to be a friend with me? You know.
Come
I
on,
think
Skazz.
so.
I know you're mental, but that's a bit far fetched, mate.
Actually, I did have some random person add me on Steam who apparently listened to us on the podcast.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
they've been offline for like 2 years, so I must have finished them off. But anyway, they did add us. So, but yeah, thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you in a fortnight.